And some people have moved abroad because of that reason. Some people have moved to South Africa and the United Arab Emirates or Turkey because of the development. Hi, Bo. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Anton's class. I'm glad you've decided to come on over. Please make yourself at home. On today's episode, I wanted to talk about BRICS and the future of the U.S. economy and get your guys' opinion and talk about also like dual citizenship and things of that nature. So if you're new here, my name's Anton, and I'm all about helping people discover more freedom through travel and life abroad. And so let's go ahead and get started. So BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. I'm sure you already knew that because it's been all over the news lately, right? And BRICS nations, the original five, were already very important and strategic players in the global South and developing economies. And I've been to South Africa. I'm a big proponent of traveling to South Africa. I love South Africa, and I plan on visiting again, and possibly in the distant future, maybe having like a retirement situation down there. But that's not that easy because South Africa, you basically have to marry somebody or invest a large sum of money in order to get like permanent residence or something like that. But anyways, you guys, I just wanted to talk about this because Saudi Arabia, which has also decided to join BRICS, has just dumped the US dollar as the reserve currency for the petrodollar, right? It is no longer, the US dollar is no longer the black gold standard. It is no longer going to be the petrodollar for Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Iran, Egypt, and Ethiopia have all joined. And I want us to talk about that and really unpack that. So why should that matter? Well, Egypt is an incredibly important player on the African continent and on the global stage, right? They affect what goes on in the MENA region. And Egypt controls the Suez Canal, which is paramount to international trade, right? How many ships pass there? How many cargo ships pass through the Suez Canal daily? Egypt also is a bridge between Africa, Europe, and Asia, right? Saudi Arabia, we already know, need I say more? Saudi Arabia, a major exporter of oil and also a very strategic player in geopolitics there in the Middle East region, right? Iran, huge country geographically and definitely a very important player in the Middle East region, right? The politics and what's going on in Iran does have an impact on what's going on in the Middle East, right? We know already as it stands that Iran and Israel are totally opposed to one another. And so the fact that Iran has now also submitted a formal application to join BRICS means that the tides are really changing. The tides of de-dollarization are upon us. And so what are you guys planning to do? A lot of you guys on this community have already gone abroad. You've expressed interest in dual citizenship. If you did get dual citizenship, where would you go? Would you go to the United Arab Emirates? Turkey? Turkey's another country who has expressed interest in joining BRICS. Or would you try to go somewhere in Africa like Ethiopia, Egypt, or South Africa? So South Africa is incredibly important too, by the way, because while I was living in Namibia, I realized that the majority of the products in Namibia are from South Africa, right? The majority of the stores, the majority of the food chains, clothing, medicine, and that goes for all of the SADC nations, the Southern African Development Community nations, right? Which includes South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique, Malawi, and others. South Africa is a very prominent player there. So what goes on in South Africa definitely affects those other countries there in Southern Africa. But anyways, South Africa is one of the original members of BRICS. And so naturally, the formation of BRICS is likely going to have a very positive impact on the economy and the structure and development of South Africa, hopefully, right? BRICS also is in the works of creating a blockchain currency. So the fact that BRICS will have its own currency will sort of make US sanctions obsolete, right? Because whenever the United States decides to sanction a country, it makes it really challenging for other countries to interfere or to enact trade. But now that BRICS has come on the stage and they are planning to create this blockchain currency that is going to bypass the entire SWIFT banking system, right, and rival the G7. As a matter of fact, all of the BRICS nations, the GDP of all the BRICS nations is higher than the GDP of the G7, right? And the population of all of the BRICS nations is definitely higher than the population of the G7 countries. All that being said, I am still optimistic for the US dollar and the US economy. I just released a video about why I left Africa and why I moved back to the United States, and I'm very happy with that decision. So this video is not a doom and gloom video. It is just something I wanted to talk about and see what you guys are planning to do as a result. Some people are very strategic in looking at the long-term developments of the world, and some people have moved abroad because of that reason. Some people have moved to South Africa and the United Arab Emirates or Turkey because of the development of BRICS, right? Even Russia, which that's not likely. Some have moved to China, but again, that's not as likely, or as common, I should say. It's not as common. But with all of these developments, what do you guys think? I personally am going to stay within the United States for now. That's my plan. That's my long-term goal. I love life here as an American and living in the United States. I just released a video also about Black people considering creating community and returning to the South. So go and check that out too if you haven't already. And I'm hopeful still for the United States economy. How do you think the Saudi Arabia dumping the petrodollar, the US dollar as the reserve currency, and the entire process of de-dollarization going on? China also dumped a lot of their US dollars as their reserve currency. And so this is definitely going to have an impact on the United States dollar and on political and geopolitical affairs involving our country. So what do you guys think? If you're watching this from South Africa, how do you think this is going to develop the economies in South Africa? If you're watching this from the United States, how do you think this is going to impact our economy here in the United States? Are you going to be strategic maybe and consider dual citizenship? If so, in which country? Please go ahead and let us know. As always, please hit that like button if you haven't already, if you got anything from this video, and subscribe. Thank you for stopping by Anton's class. Until next time, goodbye.